but was sitting on a horse when a stagecoach ran away, and it had the leading lady in it and a couple other actors coming downhill. And Ben stepped out in front of this thing on horseback and stopped this team. I mean, literally stopped.
Every single day, I dive into another story from the Golden Age. The kind of moments that built an era people still can't stop talking about. If you want to keep these memories alive right here with me, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, but it means the world. Now, let's get into it, because the reason Sam Elliott still refuses to watch one episode he filmed back in 1989 runs way deeper than most people ever guessed. Sam Elliott, born Samuel Pack Elliott on August 9th, 1944 in Sacramento, California, wasn't just destined to be Hollywood's cowboy voice. He earned that image through real-life grit. He grew up in Portland, Oregon, soaking up the spirit of the Old West like it was in his blood.
I've had that question asked so many times, and it's so hard to answer because, you know, if you have good fortune enough to have been in some decent films along the road.
But not everyone was cheering him on. His dad, who worked for the government, didn't think acting was a real career. When his father passed away from a heart attack while Sam was just 18, it hit him hard. That loss stayed with him, shaping the quiet strength people now see behind those famous eyes. Even with that heartbreak, Sam didn't back down. He packed up and chased his dreams straight to Los Angeles. He took acting classes, did odd jobs just to make rent, and auditioned for anything that would give him a shot. And slowly but surely, that persistence paid off. By the late 60s and into the 70s, he started making real moves, landing small roles in classics like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and appearing in Western hits like Gunsmoke. Those parts didn't just show his face, they built his legend, that calm, rugged, real-deal cowboy energy that made people believe every word he said. Then came Lifeguard in 1976, the film that changed everything. Audiences saw more than his trademark mustache and charm. They saw heart, vulnerability, and an honesty that hit different. From there, he just kept climbing, tearing through the 80s and 90s with roles in Tombstone, The Quick and the Dead, Gettysburg, and of course, the wild ride that was Roadhouse. His cool, commanding vibe didn't just fit the screen, it owned it. What set Sam Elliott apart from everyone else in the Hollywood spotlight was how real he kept it. No pretending, no ego, just pure authenticity. Whether he was a Civil War general, a wise but grumpy cowboy, or a worn-down biker who'd seen too much, Sam poured everything into each role. He didn't just act, he became the character. That quiet strength he carried on screen wasn't just performance, it was who he really was. While other stars were chasing headlines and drama, Sam stayed in his own lane, focused completely on the craft. He didn't need gossip or flash to prove his worth. His work spoke louder than any scandal ever could. Fans respected that. They knew when Sam Elliott showed up, they were getting something real. And let's talk about that voice, deep, rugged, and instantly recognizable. It wasn't just a voice, it was an era. He turned it into gold when he recorded the unforgettable line, "Beef, it's what's for dinner," for the American Beef Council back in 1984. That line became iconic, and so did he. Around that same time, Sam married actress Catherine Ross, the star of The Graduate and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Their love story wasn't just a Hollywood fling. It was one of the rare ones that actually lasted. On screen and off, they were a powerhouse pair. They worked together on hits like The Legacy and later The Hero, where Sam played an aging Western actor facing his own fading spotlight, a role many fans believed mirrored pieces of his real life. Even with Hollywood always trying to box him into that tough cowboy image, Sam kept breaking expectations. From playing the mysterious stranger in The Big Lebowski to showing his clever, layered side in Thank You for Smoking, he proved time and again there was way more to him than that mustache and that slow drawl.
He was just this guy that came out from Oklahoma with a load of horses with his dad to work in the movie business. And one day was wrangling on a John Ford movie. I'm not going to try to guess which one it was.
In 2018, Sam Elliott reached a whole new level in his career when he took on the role of Bobby Maine in A Star is Born. He played the older brother and manager to Bradley Cooper's character, and the performance hit like a gut punch. raw, emotional, and unforgettable. That role finally earned Sam his very first Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and fans everywhere couldn't stop saying it was about time. His emotional honesty shattered the tough cowboy image he'd carried for decades, revealing a depth that left critics stunned. Even as the years rolled on, Sam didn't slow down one bit. He kept choosing roles that dug into big, powerful themes: honor, aging, memory, and legacy. Films like The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot, 2018, and the Yellowstone prequel, 1883, proved he wasn't chasing fame. He was chasing meaning. Each performance showed the same quiet strength and deep heart that made people fall in love with his work in the first place. And then, in 2025, Sam pulled a move no one saw coming. He jumped straight into animation. He joined Family Guy as the recurring voice of Wild West, the new mayor of Quahog. Across 21 episodes, that legendary voice of his, deep, steady, and smooth as a desert breeze, turned the character into something special. Wild West wasn't just a random cartoon cowboy. He was a sharp, funny nod to the same Western heroes Sam had been bringing to life for decades. The show nailed it perfectly, using his signature vibe to turn Wild West into a mix of swagger, grit, and just the right amount of mischief. It was hilarious and heartfelt all at once, and only Sam could pull that off. Fans went crazy for it because it blended everything they loved about him: that calm authority, that old-school sense of justice, and the unshakable cool that made him a legend. Watching Sam cross into animation proved something major. His presence doesn't need a camera or a cowboy hat to command attention. Whether it's a gritty Western or a wild cartoon scene, that unmistakable voice and grounded energy hit with the same power every single time. By leaning into the joke and not taking himself too seriously, Sam Elliott proved he could laugh with the world instead of worrying about his image. It was pure brilliance, self-parody done right. He showed that being a legend didn't mean being uptight, and fans loved seeing that side of him. That move locked him in as more than just a Western icon. It made him part of modern comedy, too. He wasn't afraid to poke fun at himself, and that confidence made him even cooler. Then came 2022, when Sam switched gears completely and delivered one of the most powerful performances of his career as Shay Brennan in the Paramount Plus series, 1883. This prequel to Yellowstone peeled back the curtain on the Dutton family's gritty beginnings, and Sam's character was the heart of that story. Shay Brennan was a rugged, battle-scarred leader, the kind of man who carried every hardship on his back while guiding a wagon train of immigrants from Fort Worth, Texas, across the dangerous and unpredictable frontier. Sam didn't just play the role, he lived it. He brought raw emotion and real conviction to every scene, showing the pain, strength, and quiet sorrow of a man haunted by loss, but still pushing forward. You could feel every ounce of grief, courage, and exhaustion in his performance. It wasn't about looking heroic, it was about surviving, and Sam nailed that truth. What made 1883 hit so hard was that it didn't sugarcoat frontier life.
That's what I do. I mean, it's like, and some people might say, well, fuck, it's just the same old shit from Sam. And that's okay, too.
It showed how brutal, lonely, and unforgiving that world really was. Deadly terrain, harsh weather, and danger lurking at every turn. And through it all, Sam's steady presence grounded the entire story, making the long, treacherous trek toward Montana feel painfully real and unforgettable. When 1883 aired from late 2021 to February 2022, it blew audiences away with its breathtaking visuals, emotional storytelling, and powerhouse performances. But it was Sam Elliott who stole the spotlight. Fans couldn't stop talking about how he captured Brennan's determination, weariness, and quiet vulnerability, all without ever losing that fierce frontier spirit that defines him. Sam's performance in 1883 hit so deep that it earned him the Screen Actors Guild Award for outstanding performance by a male actor in a miniseries or television movie. What a moment. It was proof that even after decades in the game, Sam Elliott still delivers the kind of emotional power most actors only dream about. Every role he touches carries that same weight, raw, honest, and unforgettable. But Sam's magic doesn't stop when the cameras turn off. That voice of his is a whole legacy on its own. Deep, smooth, and commanding, it's one of the most recognizable sounds in American media. His tone has this mix of strength, sincerity, and old-school Western charm that companies would pay gold for. Advertisers love that voice because it makes everything sound real. No gimmicks, just authenticity. Over the years, Sam has lent his voice to all kinds of industries. Cars, tech, food, beverages, you name it. Every time he brings that rugged edge and quiet confidence that instantly pulls people in. One of his earliest standout gigs was with Dodge Trucks, where his slow, steady delivery made every word sound powerful and rock solid. Exactly what the brand stood for. Then he switched gears and took on IBM campaigns using that same confident tone to make complicated tech stuff sound simple and trustworthy. And in a softer, more down-to-earth shift, he even voiced ads for Kinney drugs, giving them that warm, dependable energy that made people feel safe and cared for. But the gig that truly sealed his name in the voiceover Hall of Fame was his work for the American Beef Council. That long-running campaign leaned hard into the heart of Americana. Pride, tradition, and toughness. Sam took over from the legendary Robert Mitchum and somehow made the line, "Beef, it's what's for dinner," sound even more iconic. That's the kind of presence you just can't fake. When Sam Elliott speaks, people listen. Sam's delivery didn't just sell a product, it made history. His voice turned that beef campaign into a timeless piece of American advertising. There was something about the way he spoke, steady, rugged, and full of truth, that perfectly matched the spirit of the American beef brand. It wasn't polished or fake. It sounded like the real voice of the heartland. His tone carried the grit of hard work, the weight of tradition, and the soul of the open land. That kind of authenticity couldn't be faked, and it became one of the campaign's strongest weapons. Then came another huge chapter. Starting in late 2007, Sam became the voice of Coors Beer, a brand born from the Rocky Mountains themselves. The pairing was perfect. His Western edge, that calm yet commanding tone, gave Coors commercials a whole new vibe, bold, refreshing, and alive with that mountain spirit.
I think what I remember most about films is the people that I've worked with rather than the film itself.
You could practically feel the cold air and wide open sky when he spoke. His voice gave Coors an identity, rugged yet chill, adventurous yet grounded, and fans connected instantly. By 2010, Ram trucks came calling, and Sam brought his trademark weight and strength straight to the brand's heavy-duty lineup. From that first ad, it was crystal clear. This was the sound of power. His deep, no-nonsense delivery carried everything Ram stood for: toughness, reliability, and hard-earned respect. His words didn't sound like marketing. They sounded like a man who knew exactly what it meant to work hard, push limits, and never quit. To this day, Sam remains the voice of Ram, and every time you hear that tone, you feel it. Solid, steady, unstoppable. And as if that weren't legendary enough, starting in 2008, Sam took on one of the most iconic voices in American public service, Smokey Bear. When he said, "Only you can prevent forest fires," it hit different. His voice made it sound personal, like Smokey was speaking straight to you with care and authority. That deep, grounding tone turned a simple slogan into something memorable and powerful. And here's the wild part. Sam Elliott actually shares the same birthday as Smokey Bear, August 9th, 1944. Talk about destiny. It was like the universe always knew he was meant to be that voice, strong, wise, and rooted in the heart of the American wilderness. Sam's narration didn't just keep the Smokey Bear campaign alive, it revived it with fresh power and purpose. His voice gave the decades-old message a new heartbeat, reminding everyone that real responsibility never goes out of style. And it didn't stop there. Sam's voice charged straight into the world of sports when he narrated the team introductions for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers during Super Bowl 45. That booming, gravel-deep tone of his made the whole showdown in Arlington, Texas feel like an old-school Western duel for glory. His energy brought the tension to life. Two football titans facing off under the brightest lights in America. The hype was unreal, and Sam's narration gave it a level of intensity that no one else could touch. It wasn't just a game, it was a moment. Then Sam took another unexpected turn, stepping right back into animation and pop culture when he officially joined Family Guy on September 9th, 2020. He voiced Wild Wild West, the cousin of the late Mayor Adam West, and gave the character this perfect mix of dry humor, Western charm, and serious attitude. Across 21 episodes, Sam balanced comedy and gravity like a pro, paying tribute to a classic character while pulling in a whole new generation of fans. But Sam didn't just stay in Hollywood. His voice made waves in politics, too. During the 2020 U.S. presidential election, he narrated a campaign ad for Joe Biden, using that calm, steady tone that carried real sincerity. Millions heard it, and the message hit home. Simple, grounded, and powerful. A few years later, in 2024, Sam teamed up with the Lincoln Project, lending his unmistakable voice to an ad supporting Kamala Harris. In that campaign, he delivered one unforgettable line: "It's time to be a man and vote for a woman." That statement struck hard, direct, confident, and full of meaning. And with Sam delivering it, the words carried even more force. Even though Roadhouse, 1989, went on to become a cult classic, moments like these proved that Sam Elliott's influence stretches far beyond the big screen. His voice, his presence, and his honesty still command attention everywhere he goes. Roadhouse became a cult classic for its rough-edged action and unforgettable performances, and Sam Elliott's role as the seasoned mentor, Wade Garrett, remains one of the film's strongest highlights. But even with all the love fans still have for it, there's one scene Sam refuses to watch, even decades later. Despite the film's massive following and his legendary performance, that single moment hits way too close to home for him. The scene he can't bring himself to revisit. Wade Garrett's brutal and tragic death. A shocking moment that happens after he steps in to protect his protege Dalton, played by the late Patrick Swayze. For fans, it was heartbreaking, the kind of twist that instantly changed the tone of the entire movie. But for Sam, it was far more than just another script moment. It was personal, deep, and emotionally draining. He's hinted over the years that filming Garrett's death left a mark he never quite shook off. The mood on set that day was heavy, raw emotion, exhaustion, and silence between takes. Everyone knew they were filming something that meant something. For Sam, saying goodbye to a character he had poured so much heart into wasn't just difficult. It felt like losing a part of himself. Elliott has always been known for putting his soul into his roles, and with Wade Garrett, that connection cut deep. He once opened up in a rare, honest moment, admitting, "There was a heaviness that stayed with me after that day." That one sentence says everything. Wade Garrett wasn't just another role to him. He was a reflection of loyalty, sacrifice, and that tough but tender strength Sam brought to every performance. Even now, all these years later, that scene still sits heavy with him, proof of just how deeply he invests in every story he tells. Sam once said, "He was a man I knew, a man I understood. Losing him, even fictionally, stayed with me." That confession explains everything. That scene in Roadhouse wasn't just another day on set for him. It hit like a real loss. He wasn't just acting through the pain. He was feeling it, every second of it. And that emotional honesty is exactly why the moment still carries so much weight today. But there was another layer to Sam's discomfort with the film, something that went deeper than just the story.
And I felt like I'd nailed it, like more than once. And I just looked at them and I said, "Hey, you guys got to tell me what the you want, because I mean, you know." And they said, "Oh, no, we got to know." third or fourth take. We just like.
It came from the atmosphere on set during some of the more intense scenes involving actress Julie Michaels, who played Denise, the girlfriend of the movie's main villain. There was no personal issue between Sam and Julie. In fact, the two respected each other, but the nature of certain scenes clashed with who Sam was at his core. Elliott has always stood firm on creating respectful, safe environments in his work, and when certain parts of Roadhouse leaned into violence or heavy objectification, it just didn't sit right with him. Reports have said that Sam found some of the more sexualized moments unnecessary, scenes that to him didn't add depth to the story, but instead distracted from its real emotion. For an actor as grounded as Sam, that kind of content crossed into uncomfortable territory, and he didn't hide that feeling. He believed movies should show truth, not exploitation, and that belief made him quietly question some of the creative choices in Roadhouse. Those moments left him conflicted, torn between his respect for the craft and his discomfort with how far certain scenes went. Sam Elliott has never been the type to glamorize every project or pretend everything he's done was perfect. He's always been real about it, honest, intentional, and humble. Even though Roadhouse has gone down in history as a cult classic full of unforgettable action and wild energy, Sam's relationship with it remains complicated. He respects its legacy, but he doesn't feel the need to rewatch it, because for him, some memories are better left behind. When Roadhouse first hit theaters, the reactions were all over the place. Some fans loved the wild energy, but others didn't quite get it, and Sam Elliott himself wasn't completely satisfied with how the final cut turned out. He felt like certain moments leaned a little too far into campy territory, clashing with the deep emotional weight he'd built into Wade Garrett. That disconnect between what he meant to show and what ended up on screen stuck with him for years. It wasn't about ego, it was about the craft. Sam put real heart into Wade, and when that emotion got overshadowed, it hit him hard. That feeling only made his decision to avoid rewatching certain scenes even stronger, especially the painful ones. But what truly sealed that choice wasn't just about the story. It was about Patrick Swayze. The two didn't just work together, they formed a true friendship built on respect, trust, and shared dedication to their craft. Sam always spoke with warmth about Swayze's work ethic, charm, and genuine kindness. They had a bond that went beyond the screen. So when Patrick Swayze passed away in 2009, revisiting Roadhouse became emotionally impossible for Sam. Watching that moment where Wade Garrett dies, bloodied, broken, and discovered by Swayze's character, hits him twice as hard now. It's not just the death of a character, it's the memory of losing a real friend. Sam once said, "It's not just Wade who died in that scene. It's a memory of someone I miss, frozen on film." Those words say everything. It's not about avoiding the past, it's about honoring it. For Sam Elliott, steering clear of that one unforgettable scene isn't about denial. It's about respect. It's his way of protecting the emotion, the truth, and the friendship that moment holds. Some memories are just too sacred to relive, even for a man as tough as him. Because at the end of the day, even the strongest cowboy carries quiet pain behind that calm stare. Some scenes aren't just movies. They're pieces of a life once lived, moments tied to people who left a mark that never fades. If this story hit you deep, let's keep the conversation going. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and share for more powerful Hollywood stories that show the heart behind the legends.